Indie creators seeking their first big hit and AAA developers seeking to add more excitement to their upcoming blockbuster game. Both continue to embrace roguelike games. It's become rather typical and has had a boom in recent years, to the point where it's practically cliché. However, there are many roguelike shooters available now that stand out significantly from the competition. There are some games on this list that were formerly indie darlings, but there are also AAA games. Everyone will like the games listed below, regardless of whether they prefer independent games or major blockbuster releases. Fast-paced shooter Crab Champions features aspects of roguelike gameplay and offers all the excitement of running and shooting in only 30-minute chunks. Crab Champions is a surprisingly rich and enjoyable game to play, with quick and responsive fighting and shooting, intriguing upgrades, and unlockables. Additionally, you and a few pals can battle crab hordes together by playing Crab Champions with up to 3 additional players. You will be at home in Crab Champions if you enjoy games like Risk of Rain 2 or Warframe. A first-person shooter with roguelike and RPG components is called Gunfire Reborn. To keep things interesting in between runs, there are a ton of different characters and builds to attempt. Up to 4 players can play cooperatively in Gunfire Reborn, enabling you to play with your friends and create builds that complement one another. Gunfire Reborn is a fantastic co-op game with a ton of builds to explore and fascinating advancement paths. In the top-down roguelike shooter Nuclear Throne, your sole objective is to make it to the nuclear throne after being dropped into a nuclear wasteland. To accomplish that, you'll need to battle your way through the residents of the wasteland, using a range of firearms, upgrades, and even physical changes. Nuclear Throne never feels overly complicated, and it never slows down, because to its chaotic and quick-paced gameplay, you'll have to rely on quick thinking and adaptation if you want to succeed. In Nuclear Throne, you must quickly adjust to new situations in order to meet any challenges that may arise. In the reverse bullet hell that is Vampire Survivors, you must gather a swarm of projectiles to dispatch waves upon waves of advancing foes. There are hundreds of things, personalities, and improvements in Vampire Survivors that may be collected and discovered. Vampire Survivors controls are straightforward, but the combat is rich and enjoyable, reduced to the bare minimum to allow for greater customization and optimization. As you go, you can significantly manipulate your RNG, enabling you to develop your preferred builds for use against swarms of vampires, skeletons, and other monsters. It would be virtually criminal to undersell Risk of Rain 2's value as a classic in the roguelike genre. Just scratching the surface of what makes this game genuinely unique is its straightforward yet incredibly enjoyable roguelike gameplay loop, seeming allergy to downtime, adorably austere graphics fidelity, and absolutely amazing soundtrack. Each persona you can acquire to face Petricherv's dangers manages to be different, without totally alienating you from the game's main mechanics, adding a gameplay element that differs from the previous one, just enough to make the experience interesting.